Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Senator Brad Hawkins has issued a statement in support of Governor Jay Inslee's call for a special session to finalize Washington state drug possession law. Apple Blossom isn't over until the running of the bicycles as Tour de Bloom returns this weekend. And expect rain, thunderstorms, and cooler weather tomorrow and right through the upcoming weekend. Water over the roadway closed South Lakeshore Road and Shady Pass Road in Chelan this morning. Water from 25 Mile Creek near the state park made the roads impassable. South Lakeshore Road closed just after Hale Road at milepost 16. This morning, Chelan County Public Works crews were working to assess the situation to determine if they can remove a log jam near the state park. Residents who live above the closure should call 911 if they have an emergency, and motorists are reminded to never drive in water. Senator Brad Hawkins has issued a statement in support of Governor Jay Inslee's call for a special session to finalize Washington state's drug possession law. In 2021, the Washington Supreme Court overturned the state's felony drug possession law and adopted a temporary misdemeanor policy. The policy ends July 1st, and legislators failed to pass a solution. Hawkins voted for the bipartisan Senate Bill 5536 to address the temporary possession law, but it ultimately failed 43 to 55 in the House on the last day of the regular session. The special session is set for May 12th, and Hawkins said he hopes the solution resembles that compromise.
While I'm definitely not eager to get back to Olympia, I'm actually quite thankful that the governor called a special session because Washington definitely needs a statewide law to clarify drug possession. I'm hoping any bill approved during the special session will closely resemble the bipartisan compromise that the Senate approved in early March. But I've been through a few special sessions in my career, and it's always difficult to predict what will actually happen.
Fire Station 3, located in Rock Island, opened on Monday, is now equipped with a fire engine, brush truck, and personnel. With construction complete, the Washington State Survey and Rating Bureau has reduced the community protection class in the greater Rock Island area from a 9 to a 5. The WSRB evaluates the effectiveness of fire departments for the insurance industry on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being possible uninsurable. For the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department, the best community protection class currently available is a 5 in the Douglas County jurisdiction and a 4 in the Chelan County jurisdiction. The department is planning for reevaluation as a new entity this fall, and Fire Chief Brian Brett is optimistic that the combination of the fire districts will bring a community protection class rating of 3, which would propel the department to the top 11% of the 668 fire departments in the state. One of America's biggest bus companies is now offering service between Seattle and Leavenworth, as well as other north central Washington towns. Megabus, the two-decker bus service, announced this week it's established new partnerships that allow it to expand its fare service around the Northwest. New stops include Quincy, Leavenworth, and Moses Lake, with ticket prices starting in the $50 to $60 range. Fares can be booked at the Megabus website. When we come back, we will talk to Bob Mast, this year's Apple Citizen of the Year. Apple Blossom isn't over until the running of the bicycles as Tour de Bloom returns this weekend. And researchers at Washington State University are the first to develop genetically edited pigs and get federal permission for their consumption as food. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Bob Mast arrived in Wenatchee in 2003 to help lead CMI Orchards. 10 years later, he was named CMI's president, and this year he's been recognized as the Apple Citizen of the Year as part of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Bob joined us in Memorial Park this week to talk about his career, his duties as Apple Citizen, and his surprise at learning he'd won the festival honor.
My name is Bob Mast, and I'm the president of CMI Orchards. I've been at CMI almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years in October. I actually grew up in Phoenix, so I'm a transplant up here from Phoenix, moved up 20 years ago, and absolutely love it up here. Love the outdoors. CMI orchards, we shipped over 65 countries across the globe. Obviously a lot of fruit here in North America. We do apples, is our biggest commodity, obviously. So we do apples, pears, and cherries. We do some imports as well that supplement our growers' fruit to make sure that we can go year-round with customers, and just have a very diverse growing region all the way from the southern border, bordering Oregon, all the way up to the northern part of the border, bordering Canada. So we represent many growers across the state, and just are blessed to be working with them. I was actually overwhelmingly shocked 2 years ago when Jennifer Witherby won the award. I was part of the group that did the ruse with her to make it a surprise for her over at Pybus Market in the convention gathering area they have. 2 years later, my team's doing the exact same thing to me. I didn't even see it coming. And I was just overwhelmed with gratitude and just an amazing humbleness with the folks that have won this award before me. I mean, you look at Grady Oval and Tom Matheson and Jim Wade and the McDougall family, and just really prominent folks in our industry, and just really kind of overwhelmed that, you know, I would be recognized along with that group. I guess one of my big duties is to ride in the parade and get my parade wave down. So I told my wife I'd rather just wear a cap this year and maybe start a new tradition of the tipping of the cap in the parade. But obviously we support the industry. Stamild has done a really nice job building this parade into a grand function over the years. They deserve a lot of credit for that, and we're happy to be a part of it. We're going to have a CMI float, I think, in the parade as well. I tell people when I try to entice them to come visit us in Wenatchee, I said there is no more beautiful time than apple blossom time of the year. And you know, with all the activities going on with the Classy Chassis Car Parade and the parade, and just the green mountains in the foreground, the rushing rivers, the cascades with snow on it, and apple blossoms and pear blossoms at the same time. I mean, there is no place on earth that's prettier than that at that time. So that's what I think about at Apple Blossom. People coming together just in God's creation.
Apple Blossom Festival isn't over until the running of the bicycles. Tour de Bloom returns this weekend with bike events throughout Chelan and Douglas counties, including the very speedy Wenatchee Downtown Criterium on Saturday starting at 3 p.m. and running through about 10 p.m. Other distance and endurance events take place around Waterville starting at 10 a.m. on Friday, on Malaga-Alcoa Highway starting at 8 a.m. Saturday, and the Plain and Lake Wenatchee area beginning at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Some 400 riders are expected to participate in one or more heats. County road agencies warn all motorists to be aware of the routes and share the roadway with the cyclists. Researchers at Washington State University are the first to develop genetically edited pigs and get federal permission for their consumption as food. Scientists at WSU's College of Veterinary Medicine used the gene-modifying technology called CRISPR to develop 5 pigs that could pass on the traits of one selected boar. These were then processed into sausage, which was inspected and approved for humans to eat. Washington State University bioscientist John Odie said the CRISPR process can yield healthier herds without decades of selective breeding.
The reason that we wanted to go through FDA approval with these animals is to show as an example that we can start with a basic discovery in the research lab. We can develop it as a utilizable tool into a food animal, and then we can advance it through the regulatory process. We expect the sausage that will be made from these animals to have no difference in its taste or its texture or its nutrient properties compared to a non-genome edited animal.
Coming up next, we will bring you our weekly Pause for Pets feature with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Much cooler and sometimes wet weather is on the way, and it's sticking around. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight we meet a dog named Tessa.
Hi, my name's Corley and I'm with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm an animal care associate, which means I get to work with these guys all day long. And this is Tessa. She is a 2-year-old pit bull mix, and she is one of my personal favorites. She originally came to us as a stray, and she won my heart immediately when I first took her for a walk, and she grabbed her stuffed animal to go with us. She's just an absolute joy. She seems to do well with children. She even had a little 4-year-old kid step on her tail and she didn't react. And she's just a really happy-go-lucky dog who gets along great with other dogs. We have her in play group with a bunch of our others for most of the day. We're not sure how she does with cats, but she's not very prey-driven, so we think she might be fine, but we're not sure. If you think that you might want to meet Tessa, come by anytime between 11 and 6, Thursday through Tuesday. We are closed for quiet hour between 1:30 and 2:30, but come on by.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Really the last day that we're going to enjoy temperatures well above normal. And look at this shot from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera. Beautiful green all around the Wenatchee Valley. But you can see from the clouds overhead, we have a system moving in, and yeah, thunderstorms in our forecast. We've been talking about it for about the last 2 or 3 days, and this is what it looks like. And it will be mainly tonight. Most of us at least a 30 to 40% chance of thunderstorms. And this area in the green shade, that's where we could see the most severe thunderstorms. And that includes you folks in Moses Lake, where you could see wind gusts between 50 and 60 miles an hour. Heavy rain, small hail, and we all in our viewing area right now have a flood watch in effect from 5 o'clock tonight until 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and we'll talk more about that coming up. But today it was a warm one, 83 our unofficial high temperature, and that's 15 degrees above where we should be. It's 68 for this time of year, 89 our record, and that was set back in 1966. How about this low this morning? That was our low, folks. Remember, 68's our normal high. We were at 63 this morning overnight. 45 is our normal low, and 32 is our record set in 1962. Sunrise 5:40, and the sun sets this evening at 8:16. Let's take a look now what we can expect as we get into Friday. And one thing that pops out, look at these temperatures. In some cases, 25 degrees cooler than what we had today. 61 in Moses Lake and Ephrata, 60 degrees for Quincy, and then a lot of 50s from Ellensburg to Wenatchee into Entiat. Also Cashmere and Leavenworth in the upper 50s for highs tomorrow. And folks, it's going to be a wet one. Tonight, this is where the storm system begins to move in. There is an area of low pressure just off the Washington coast, also one to our north and one down in the Great Basin. All of that fueling this very moist, unstable air mass. Most of the activity by later tonight will move into eastern Washington, but look what happens for Classy Chassis. This is your morning commute, and by afternoon, yeah, it's not going to get much better. Much cooler, as we mentioned, tomorrow with high temperatures in the upper 50s. Bring those umbrellas and rain jackets tomorrow if you are going to take in Classy Chassis. And then for the Milk Growers Grand Parade on Saturday for Apple Blossom, Gonna be cool. I think we'll stay dry, mostly cloudy skies. You can see all the clouds around. And here we are, surrounded by rain, but I think we'll miss it for the parade. High temperatures around 60. By Sunday, mostly cloudy. We're gonna stay on the cool side as our airflow continues to come in from the northwest, and that'll bring in those cooler temperatures, low 60s for highs by the end of the weekend. On Monday, another area of low pressure kind of rotates just off the coast. That'll bring us about a 30% chance of rain on Monday. We are slowly warming up though, with highs in the mid 60s. As we get you into Tuesday, that warm up continues. Things calm down a little bit as far as the wet weather. We'll see partly cloudy skies Tuesday with high temperatures back into those upper 60s, and that's about seasonal for this time of year. And then by the end of our forecast on Wednesday, things don't look too bad. Partly cloudy skies as high pressure begins to nudge into the Pacific Northwest. May see a sprinkle or two in the afternoon Wednesday, but the best news, we are warming up into the low 70s. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast. 51 overnight tonight, and then look what happens to these temperatures. Rain is likely tomorrow. It will be cooler at 59. 60 with mostly cloudy skies both Saturday and Sunday, a bit warmer Sunday, and then we will slowly warm up as we get into the first part of next week. 65 with showers Monday, 68 on Tuesday, and then up to 71 at the time we get into Wednesday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Game 2 of the second round Stanley Cup playoff series between Seattle and Dallas is tonight. The Kraken have been road warriors so far this postseason, winning 4 out of 5 games away from Climate Pledge Arena. Coach Dave Haxtell says there are 2 ways of looking at that.
We've been pretty successful on the road all year. I don't draw too much from it. Maybe we got to be a little bit better at home. I guess that's what I would draw from it. Sometimes there's trends that you see throughout the year. That's been one for us. We've been comfortable on the road. We've been pretty focused on the road, and tonight will obviously be our biggest test on the road of the season.
Philip Grubauer has been a key component to Seattle's success so far in the playoffs. Haxtell says he does a great job of having a short memory.
Yeah, I mean, critical to have a guy in there that that everybody's feels comfortable, feels confident in, and has done a great job for us. The other night, Gruby's this entire through the first 8 games here, he's had a real good ability just to move on to the next save. Nothing has lingered with him from game to game. Nothing has carried from one to the next. If a puck gets by him, he's been able to move on to the next play, the next save, and that's really given our group confidence. And obviously that's going to be a big piece continually moving forward.
The scoring has been spread throughout the Kraken lineup, with 15 players scoring the 23 goals Seattle has scored so far through the playoffs. Haxtell says that's not a bad thing.
When everybody's scoring, it's a good thing, as long as that's happening. One of the things that it does, regular season or playoffs, is everybody knows that they have to do their part. We're not gonna get through a playoff game with just our power play getting hot and getting us through a game. We're not gonna have 1 or 2 guys that we expect to lead us on any given night. It's got to be different guys for us. We don't, you don't know who that's going to be from night to night. But as you get into a game, everybody's got to have the will and have the expectation that they can go out and make a difference for us offensively, and especially as you get into playoffs. It's not just about scoring, right? I mean, you've got to do your job both directions. And hopefully, somebody on our roster is going to provide some offense for us, and everybody on our roster is going to play well in a 200-foot defensive sense.
They'll drop the puck at 6:30 with the game broadcast on ESPN. Well, the Mariners exploded for 5 runs in the 10th inning to beat Oakland 7-2 last night. Seattle struggled offensively through the first part of the game and trailed 2-0 in the 7th. That's when Jose Caballero came through with an RBI single. A.J. Pollock delivered the blow that would send the game into extras in the 9th, and Eugenio Suarez broke it open in the 10th.
2-1 ball game. 3-2 to Pollock. High drive, left field, deep, carry, gone! Home run, A.J. Pollock, it's a new ball game. 2-2 here in the ninth. That's hit well to the gap in right center field. Going back, and it is gone! Eugenio Suarez, a 3-run homer. And the Mariners have a 5-2 lead here in the 10th. Gino breaking an 0 for 11 with his third home run. RBI total to 18. There you go. Line drive, that'll score Teo. Big Cal, he's coming around. He's going to score. J.P. Crawford rings the bell. 2-run single and a Mariner lead expands to 7-2, top 10. The final piece of the victory here. 1-2 from Gott. They got him. And he'll tag, and that'll do it. The Mariners rally and get an emotional 7-2. Feel real good victory here tonight. They even up the road trip at 4-4. They win the series and look for a sweep tomorrow.
Dave Sims on the call on Root Sports Northwest. Mariners were in a flip-flop game earlier today, had the lead when we were going to the air. We'll get you highlights tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We had a few contests played yesterday across north central Washington as we check the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard. We'll start things off in baseball. Clay Elum swept a doubleheader in Winthrop yesterday, topping Liberty Bell 8-1 and 6-3. On tap earlier today, Ephrata began the CWAC District Playoffs with a game in Othello. Waterville-Mansfield was hosting Cascade, while Pateros was playing at Moses Lake Christian. Clay Elum's softball team also victorious at Liberty Bell yesterday, sweeping the Mountain Lions 17-5 and 17-0. Tenasket took down Republic in a single game yesterday, 6-2. Omak was hosting Elmira Cooley Heartline in a doubleheader today. Tenasket visiting Inchelium, Brewster hosting Okanagan, Kashmir playing at Kittitas. Well, on the Prep Boys soccer scoreboard last night, Quincy blanked Omak 6-0, while Brewster beat Orville 7-1. No games on the schedule for today for the first time on a Thursday this season. Prep tennis schedule winding down. Eastmont at Wenatchee, while Moses Lake was hosting Eisenhower. Other action saw Ephrata at Othello, Quincy hosting Kashmir, Chelan in Okanagan, and Tenasket traveling to Liberty Bell. Well, a celebration of life for a local sports legend will be held a couple of Saturdays from now. Don West passed away last December after a year-long battle with brain cancer. He was the sassy, gravelly voiced afternoon sports talk show host on KPQ who brought a world of talent to this small market. Don was a former pitchman for the Shop at Home Network and announced professional wrestling for TNA. It was during a tour stop with TNA in Wenatchee that West fell in love with the Wenatchee Valley and convinced his wife Terry to leave Nashville and come to the Apple capital. He began working for the Wenatchee Wild in marketing and eventually landed at KPQ. Celebration of Don's life will be held Saturday, May 20th at the Town Toyota Center at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a link on our website to RSVP online. That's a look at sports news. Have a happy Thursday.
Get your Apple Boston weekend kicked off with a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. My guest is this guy. Jeremy, what's on the agenda with our conversation tomorrow?
We're talking about Apple Boston 100 this weekend, May 6th at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Going to be a big night of racing, a lot of fun. Plus, we'll talk about some big upcoming events, including the Wenatchee 200 on June 3rd.
Jeremy Andrews makes his very first appearance on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning, live and local at 6 a.m.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great night.